Right, hi, Abby here from Ballerinas by Night. We are going to be talking about the basics of pas de bourrée. But before we do, make sure you're subscribed to our channel, and you can find us on our other social media, Instagram, Facebook, and our blog. Remember, at Ballerinas by Night, we are here for all ages, all levels, all body types, and we bring you new technique tips as well as vlogs and other experiences all the time. So, pas de bourrée, it's a basic step, but one that we utilize all the time, and it can be a little confusing if you are coming back into ballet or if you're new to it. So today we're going to break it down, and even if you're more intermediate, advanced level, there will be some tips in here that should help you improve your pas de bourrée. It's easy to let this step get a little sloppy, and it's almost like we use it so much that we forget to make it really crisp. It reminds me a lot of balancé, and we talked about similar issues with our balancé in our last video. So let's get started. So I'm gonna start facing the back because I think this is gonna be the easiest way for you to learn. So just like our balancé, we're gonna start with our coup de pied position, and we're in a plie here. The very first thing we do is we're gonna go to dessous, right there. So that's step number one. Pas de bourrée is 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. And it's going to go back, side, front. So that, what I just showed you, is step number 1, back. The working leg here is going back. So if we're doing the right, this is the right leg. Right. Our left leg is going to go side. If we were in first and we went relevé, that's about where we are. So we have step number 1, back. Step number 2, side. Step number 3, front. That's the right leg coming to the front again. Now to go to the left, we release into this coup de pied, and that's not our step number 1, that's just our release, that's our prep. Now we have step number 1, back, side, front. Let's do that much again. We're in our dessous, left leg releases, and step 1, back. Step 2, side. Step 3, front. That's a complete pas de bourrée. Back, side, front. Pas de bourrée eventually can become a lot of different things. This is just a very, very basic pas de bourrée. So let's say we were using this in a combination. It might look something like this. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and. Let me talk about cleaning a little of these details, because this is what sometimes I see pas de bourrée become when we're just not really fully thinking about it. When we were talking about balancé last time, I talked a lot about really getting to this position and not just kind of like taking it behind. It's the same way in pas de bourrée. This very first position should be very clean. And again, sometimes what I see is that we don't really find this position, and then instead of really finding the up and keeping that nice and crisp, is the same type of thing with the balancé. You might kind of take it over, and then you can kind of get into a which is still, you know, you're getting the backside front. It's just not as crisp as it could be. I like to use the word crisp, clean technique. It's just not as clean as it could be. It's not as simple, and we're putting in some extras. We want to take out all the extras. Ballet is as much about what we don't do as it is what we do. So we want to make sure we're not putting in things we don't need. Very, very simply, we find the position, and find the position, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and. Let's watch from this way one more time. And back, side, front, and back, side, front, and. Sometimes pas de bourrée will go more straight to fifth. So it will look a little bit more like back, side, come straight down. Don't collapse into it. I'm exaggerating that a little bit. But instead of having the 1, 2, up, and it will just go straight to that plie fifth. Back, side, close. If you're going to the left, back, side, close. And this is a transition step, meaning that usually it's connecting one thing to another thing. So how it finishes is going to depend on what comes next in the combination. If you're doing multiple pas de bourrées, then usually you're gonna have your 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. But then eventually, usually you're going to be going to something. So that's when you might have a 1, 2, 3 so that you could go into that next step. Because of that, then that's part of what makes pas de bourrée a little bit more tricky. We need to be aware of how it can change. That it's not always going to end the same way. It's not necessarily always going to begin the same way. Some schools are going to have your pas de bourrée starting from something like here, and you would still take back, side, front, and back, side, front. There are lots of different ways to go about this. But the main things you need to remember, back, side, front, and keeping in mind that it's not the same leg doing the back, side, front. You know, if you were trying to go back, side, front with the same leg, that becomes very different than it goes left, left, or right, left, right. But it's moving in one direction. So when we're going this way, every step is going this direction. Now every step is going this direction at any given time, and that's typical of pas de bourrée. So let's talk just a little bit about arms. Usually, these are the arms you're gonna have. We'll have same arm as leg, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. It can, again, I mean, that's the typical thing that I would teach, especially at a beginner level. But as with everything in ballet, there can always be variations. But if you start with that, it should give you a pretty good sense of a way to do the arms. So we're here, 1, 2, 3, same arm as leg, 1, 2, 3, same arm as leg. I think that's about it for my pas de bourrée, for our pas de bourrée beginning tutorial. Do you have any other questions about pas de bourrée? And I hope this has helped you. I hope even if, if you're a little bit more advanced, then like I say, just really work on that crispness, especially this action. I find that that's just something that, even for myself, sometimes if I'm not really focusing on it, I let it slide, but it makes the movement so much cleaner to look at. Zoom. And also this moment of finding dessous before you release, and lift, now release. Lift, now release, as much as you can. But like I say, then you're gonna have your times where it's gonna go into fifth directly, so that won't apply, always. Depends on what you're transitioning into. I hope this has helped. Have a great rest of your day. I don't know about you, but right now it's sunny and beautiful here, and it just makes me happy because we've had so much rain and doom and gloom. So I love seeing the sun, and I'm getting over a cough, so I know my voice is not the greatest today. But I hope this has helped you, and we'll see you next time. Bye.